There are calls for an end to public spats among management at the University of Cape Town. The institution made headlines when a report by the university ombud raised concerns about alleged bullying managerial style of Vice-Chancellor Mmamokgethi Phakeng. To discuss this further, we're joined by Advocate Rod Solomons, who's the Deputy President of the UCT Association for Black Alumni. Thank you very much for availing yourself this morning. Is it as simple as that?
Yeah, Dudu, yes. Now, it is simple as us getting to the truth and dealing with the matter. Otherwise, if this thing is allowed to take on a life of its own, it is going to deeply divide UCT, even society, and it's not going to be for the betterment of that institution, which is a very important institution in South Africa. And just from the outset, I need to say, although I'm the Deputy President of UCTABA, I'm speaking in my private capacity because UCTABA is still deliberating and will issue its own statement in that regard, and we are busy engaging the university authorities around that.
Sure. We understand that Ms. Phakeng had to return from sabbatical leave quite early because of goings-on during a meeting on Friday. Just bring our viewers up to speed with what is happening there.
And just a correction, she's not Ms. Phakeng, she is Professor Phakeng.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She's the Vice-Chancellor of UCT. No, the issue is there was a Senate meeting, and in that Senate meeting there was a letter read apparently by one of the DBCs, Ms. Prof. Liz Lange, who has left. And the long and the short of it is that there was an indication, there was an allegation, number one, that the chair of council and Prof. Phakeng were not truthful when they revealed to Senate why Prof. Lange left. There were numerous allegations around staff unhappiness in terms of how the institution is being managed, etc. And I need to say up front, I like Professor Phakeng. I think she's good for the institution. I think she's done some great stuff. She's got a very good rapport with students, and she believes in transformation very seriously, and to transform the university for the better of all. We as UCTABA, for example, we were the ones that actually encouraged her to put her hat in the ring to apply to become Vice-Chancellor when Dr. Max Price left. She was very reluctant. But the point that we are saying is there is a number of things that has happened. Number one, there were allegations made and a report made by the previous ombud of UCT, where about 37 staff members complained about Prof. Phakeng to her. There was a spat between her and Prof. Phakeng. We at UCTABA thought we didn't know all the facts. We kept out of it. We left it to the two of them to sort out. Then there was an issue when Ethel Williams, the whistleblower, blew the whistle around Bain. He worked at UCT GSB. He was then in some way made to resign from UCT, from the GSB, or he resigned and was put on and got unpaid leave for a number of months. I tried to intervene, we tried to intervene, but the professor and the office pushed back and said it's an administrative matter and they can't get involved. I found that very disconcerting, but we left it because obviously we don't want to micromanage. It was unfortunate that they had that position. Then there was an issue around Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Transformation, also a black woman, Professor Loretta Ferris, I think, that left. We heard about it. We were quite concerned because transformation is a big thing at UCT, and the fact that the black woman was going to leave, again, we left it because we felt the professor was dealing with it, and again, we didn't want to micromanage. Then I got to hear as well around numerous staff members leaving, particularly black staff members that were senior, and we heard about all of the rumors, etc., and we didn't want to focus on rumors. When the story came out around what happened at that Senate meeting, I actually interacted with a number of people involved in this, and many of them have confirmed that it's 100% correct, and many of them are black people. So our
what's 100% correct, Advocate Solomons? They confirmed that what is correct, please?
It's 100% in terms of how Prof Phakeng was dealing with staff members. That she's got a black book, and people are being worked out, etc., etc. But obviously, we don't have the facts. I don't have the facts. You don't have. No one has the facts. So my position is very simple: that the matter must be investigated by an independent and by a wise person, so that we can get to the facts and we can determine, number one, whether all of these people are lying and they're making stories up, they're ganging up against Professor Phakeng. If that is the case, then they need to be dealt with and they need to apologize to Professor Phakeng. Secondly, if it is so that Professor Phakeng has deficiencies in terms of leadership, management, etc., etc., and there's facts to prove that, and she's prepared to address it, then she and council need to work on that. Thirdly, if it is also proven that she is not up to the task, which I would find very unfortunate, and then UCT must do the honorable thing and part ways with her. And then the fourth thing is, if it is proven that Prof Phakeng and the chair of council has lied to the Senate and to the university around the matters that were raised in Senate, then there's no alternative but for the university to deal with them and for them to leave the university. Because the university is much more important than any one of us, any individual.
Advocate Adams, please allow me to join you there. And I think on this point that you raise of the university being important, since we are dealing with allegations and since we are dealing with stories that are floating about that are not confirmed, it's quite plausible, especially given the higher education space and academia in South Africa. Some saying that it can be toxic, that perhaps she is being not ruled out, perhaps she is being victimized and sabotaged, right? So if we go with any of these stories right now, we maybe just leave it there, because we're yet to get the information following the investigations. However, what is your interest in this entire matter?
Yeah, no, it is obviously we feel that she's good for the university. I personally feel, and the only thing is, if this matter is being allowed to drag on the ways, then there's already statements by the students, there's statements by academics. Now the national minister's asking for a report. The university gave a rebuttal to the newspaper. The newspaper came back. So we're going to have all of these things floating around over and over. So the best thing is for this to be investigated, and for the the professor and the university and so on not to issue continuous statements. Let the matter be investigated and we get to the truth. If she must be absolved, I understand fully. You know what? She's a woman, she's a black woman, and she's coming in there. There can be people who's got agendas against her. And we're living in South Africa. But I think the one thing that we mustn't do, we mustn't go in remote mode, automatically go into our lagers and play the race card. Because many of the people that are making allegations against the prof are also black people. And the prof, she's black, she's a woman. The chair of council is black, she's a woman. The DVC transformation is black, she's a woman. The person who was an ombud is black and she is a woman. So the point that I'm saying is it's in the interest of everybody, including Professor Phakeng, that we get to the truth and that they minimize the media interaction. Get someone, don't try and cover up and do an internal investigation. Get an investigation by someone who's independent, who's credible, and who's wise, and whose report would be readily accepted. So that's the appeal.
Just very quickly for us, has Professor Phakeng's competency ever been questioned?
Yeah. Listen, let me tell you, when she was DVC of research under Max Price, there was a huge campaign against people. They were questioning her qualifications. I think she's got a PhD in mathematics. Her qualifications and about her expertise and her capabilities. We as Uktaba pushed back. We were in a corner. I personally, with a colleague of mine, Lungile Jacobs, went to her office. She was reluctant to apply to be the VC of UCT. We encouraged her to put a hat in the ring, and we've actively supported her appointment. So there was in the past, and obviously, you know, as you said earlier on, these are academic institutions. People are jealous. People are there are just some nasty people around, and people has got an automatic thing that they are against a capable woman, a black woman who's confident, and so on. So therefore I'm saying it is in the interest for this thing to be dealt with properly, independently, because her credibility is at stake. And I think that she's been good for the university.
Thank you very much. So essentially her competency not coming into question. Thank you very much. And just a note to our viewers that we did, as Newsroom Africa, reach out to the UCT Council chairperson, Babalwa Ngonyama. She will join the station later on at 8 p.m. this evening, as she was unfortunately not available at the time of going to air this morning.